We don't need another book about a fucking writer, okay? Hello, everybody. You know what happened the other day? One of my subs, Self Righteousness, who is a great author tuber, and you should definitely follow her, especially if you like your humor dry. There will be a link below. She asked me to do a review, a talk about Stephen King's Misery because she thought was interesting. And problem is that I haven't read Misery. I've only watched the movie, but this really reminded me of something. Writing advice. I feel that Stephen King should probably listen to because it's both good and bad. It's one of those harmful writing advice. So why the hell not? Let's get this advice out there. And if you have what's the title of the video, I don't know. Maybe you just click when you see a new video by me and you never bother to watch the title. In case you do that, thank you very much. The writing advice for today is write what you know. And believe me, when Stephen King wrote Misery, it was because he definitely knew about fans being obsessive and also telling him
Nah, I didn't like the ending.
the main reason why I think that Stephen King should listen to this advice is because he has way too many writers as main characters. And you know what? Many people who follow this advice, write what you know, write about writers. And believe me, there's some great truth behind write what you know. The reason why I'm doing these harmful writing advice videos is because the advice analyzed here are actually quite good and they're useful, but oftentimes they're taking to extremes that are actually hinder your writing. And writing what you know is really good advice because if you do your research, you actually respect your readers and the time they took to read your book. You take some extra effort not to break immersion, and immersion is super important when you write because when your reader finds out that there are flaws and there are maybe one or two flaws in a row, then they will start to second guess everything you write, and this will break the spell. It will break the entertainment value of your book. It will make it feel much less enjoyable because they don't trust you. Getting to read a book, picking this book off the shelf means that I trust that the writer is actually worth the time and effort I'll spend, and also the money I'll spend to read the book. I trust the author to entertain me. If I start to second guess what the author is doing in the book, if he respected my time and effort with the book, then I'm not enjoying it. And believe me, I've read some books that had huge plot holes, that had problems with realism, that made no effort to cover some stuff, do the basic research, and I don't know for time reading them, or I was just laughing at how bad they were. And also, if you get the details right, you gain a lot of authenticity. I remember reading Natasha Mossert Season of the Witch, which was a great supernatural thriller, and the protagonist was a hacker, and she was describing hacking and the way he was working in great detail. The details were right, they made sense, they fitted the character, and I really enjoyed this book. Finally, if you know what you're writing and you have an intimate knowledge your readers may not have, you're able to offer a new perspective on your story. I mean, I had a video about Jack Ketchum and his book She Wakes, which was set in Greece in the 80s, and actually having visited Greece and spent some time here offered him a new perspective that natives couldn't have. And I love this book for this reason. And also the fact that you have expertise on something really makes you able to take the extra mile. I mean, Tolkien was a linguist. That's why he created all those languages that made his book, his novels, Silmarillion, The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. Yes, I talked about them in the wrong sequence. It made his novels feel unique, and he actually started something new because he was so good at crafting languages and make them feel real. But how writing what you know can be harmful to your writing. We'll start with the obvious. We don't need another book about a fucking writer, okay? There are plenty of books about writers. And believe me, most of the time, the authors of those books are not interesting enough to turn their lives into books. I mean, okay, memoirs can prove me wrong, and I guess a lot of literary fiction can be about ordinary people. But in genre fiction, most of the time, what you read is not about writers, and even if you read about writers, or if the author has another vocation, for instance, a police officer writing crime novels, real police procedures are boring. You don't want to read a crime novel about going through reports. Authors are boring. You know that, you probably want to click away from this video right now because I'm an author and I'm a boring person and I bore you. I get that. If you're still here and haven't clicked off because you were bored by my boring author persona, press the like button and leave a comment so I know I'm not that boring. Okay? Thank you. Even if you nail a book about your life or an approximation of your life, can you write a second one, a third one, a fourth one, a whole series of novels about you? I highly doubt. I mean, okay, there's always Charles Bukowski and his crazy stories about being drunk and having lots of sex. But I mean, okay, that's Bukowski. That he wasn't boring. There's no sustainable writing again and again about yourself. Alright, you may don't write about yourself. You may be a boring person writing about extraordinary people, about the super smart detective, magician in modern Chicago, or a group of various magical races trying to save the world by destroying an artifact that the Dark Lord wants to get his hands on. Even if you do that, oftentimes you make decisions based on stuff you know, and they can become crutches. I mean, you may know some things, you may have some ideas about how stuff are done, or you may describe a bit of things you do, but oftentimes if you make these decisions, they don't fit. I was watching a comic book YouTuber, and every time superheroes would go and have a cup of coffee and talk, he would throw a tantrum. And you may say, oh, what's bad? I mean, people drink coffee. But you know what's the thing? Every issue in an American superhero comic is around 100 panels long to tell a story. And if you spend 5 to 10 panels seeing people sit around the table and drinking coffee and talking, it feels like a waste of space, isn't it so? So sometimes you may just write things you know and you feel comfortable sharing, but they don't fit, or you do it too much. Even if you try not to make another self-insert character in your novel, relying too much on what you know can also be detrimental because it doesn't fit. And in my opinion, if you're an author, if you're a writer, if you're a storyteller, you should definitely go out there and experience new things, learn about new things, go read something random, watch a video on YouTube about something you're not aware of, know what you don't know, and try to get a semblance of what it is and how does it feel, and go out and experience things, because this experience you get, this knowledge you get, it will come handy down the line, and you have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and be out there, live, meet people, talk to people. I know most of you are introverts and that's painful, but maybe read about them, read their blogs, or watch their vlogs, and try to get an idea of how it is to be them, and use everything you learn to make your novels better. But the main idea is not just to try to get the things you know in your novel. You shouldn't just try to learn things they want to put in your novel. You should live and grow and learn. So those things you acquire through living or through studying or through consuming media, you can put them in your novel and make it better. Don't rely on what you know, learn stuff. I hope you liked this video. I hope it came out well, because I'm trying to film on a new mobile phone I got and I'm not sure how the sound will be. I'll try my best to fix it in post, but if the sound is too low, I'm sorry. If you do this thing, you have to learn stuff, you have to grow, you have to try stuff. Alright? As always, Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more videos like that, and go out, learn something new today, and put it in your book. Alright? Thank you for watching.